I'm working on some no-bake health.
Yeah.
You see how that does
I like that? So
I've never had a pumpkin granola before.
Same equality through both sides. Saying, wow, I got so much food to choose from. And so that's going to keep your mind looking at what you want. And you're actually, as soon as you open up the doors, you're going to be like, wow. You know, your mouth starts to water when you open up my refrigerator. And the only thing in it is fresh fruits and vegetables. You know, but it's presented where it's a... I was talking about protein, calcium, and vitamin D, and how you shouldn't, you know, take massive amounts of protein and calcium and vitamin D. And if anybody noticed on Yahoo yesterday, they had on the front, right on the front thing, said to stay away from all that vitamin D. And it was an article that was sent to the Journal of American Medical Association. It was in the Journal of American Medical Association the day before, and then yesterday it hit the media everywhere. And it was just exactly what I was talking about. And here, I didn't print it off or anything, but I thought that was so amazing, so coincidental. I love it when people say it was coincidental. I think God has a little more to do with things in society in this world than to call things coincidental. Is that, you know, so. Yeah, pretty amazing there to see that article come up right away. I've got to get some cooking going here real quick. But remember yesterday, we did those taco burgers. It was like a sloppy Joe, but it's Mexican style, the taco burgers. Now, when I got done yesterday, what I did was I froze them. And so now they're ready to come out of the freezer, and I've got basically a meal there for 2 or 3 people. But you got to freeze them flat like this. And if you freeze them flat, they're going to stack up in your freezer. Most people put it in a baggie and they throw it in the freezer. And it doesn't stack up, literally. Yeah, so, but if you freeze them and press them down and squeeze the air out of them, and then they'll stack up flat like that. Isn't that a better way to do things? And then you can have that. You saw my freezer yesterday with the rice and the beans and everything. So that's what you do, just freeze it solid like that. So, okay, but I got to get some things cooking here real quick. So what we've got here is a steam pot. I don't need gloves, but I'm going to wear some right here. And we're actually going to do a veggie pot. And let me tell you, for veggie pots, you can basically put anything you want in there. But what I'm going to start with here is some cabbage. And if you take the cabbage, we're just going to cut the core out of it, which is easy enough to do. And then you can cut these in half. These are smaller ones, so I can cut them in half. And we'll just put these right inside the steam pot. Oh, I better cut this one in half too. So we got those inside the steam pot. And then we'll do some potatoes here. Potatoes. Now you can cut these in half. If they're small, I would just leave them whole. But since they're not, they're kind of midstream here. This one's small, I'll just leave it whole. So we put potatoes in there. You got corn on the cob. You can put corn on the cob in there. Let's see what else we got here. Brussels sprouts, you can just throw the Brussels sprouts in there. Now I'm going to have to make a space right here for the beets, because right here I've got some beets. Now I actually cut these, and they're raw, but I just didn't want to get my area all red up here, so I'm actually going to put the beets in here. But I just cut these this morning, because they get that, they'll start bleeding everywhere and stain everything. But we'll put the beets in there, so we've got that. And what else do I need? Why don't we throw a couple carrots in there? Oh, here, wait, I got to share with this real quick for you. Remember, what was it? Monday. Remember Monday, we did our refrigerator station? So this has all been sitting in there since Monday, okay? And if you look at the cauliflower, everything looks absolutely gorgeous in here. So we're going to throw some of this in here. Now, if that cauliflower is touching those beets, you're definitely going to have some red cauliflower. But everything here turned out absolutely perfect. This is 3 days later, so Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Red bell pepper, so you can throw some of those in there if you want. He's working on it. The celery and carrots. The celery and carrots is right here. And with the celery and carrots, remember I put them in water? So this is 3 days later. They look as fresh and as crisp as they did when I put them in there. Now I would actually drain the water off today or tomorrow, and refill it with water. But you're getting the exact same crispness out of it. Here, in fact, I could put some celery in there. Why not? We'll put some celery in there. And now the one thing I'm not going to put in there right now is the broccoli. Because the broccoli is going to take a little bit longer or it won't take as long to steam. Everything in here is the things that take the longest to steam. And after you've done this a couple times, you'll know what to put in there and what not to put in there. If you want to get a little onion flavor, you can even throw a little onion in there. Garlic, you can just pop it with a little bit of garlic if you want to get a little garlic essence going. But the rest of this I'll keep. But we'll put the broccoli in later, and we're going to put this kale in later. See, these two items are going to take no time at all to take care of. So that's why I'm going to do those later. We're going to put the broccoli, and we're going to put the kale. Ooh, there we go. Look at this. So I've got all these wonderful ingredients in here. Here's the strategy, okay? Because I teach concepts. You got your stuff in the refrigerator, right? And you're making your salads, and you're going through your fresh product. And once it starts deteriorating, for lack of a better word, once it starts breaking down, then you cook it, and you break it down completely. So you don't have to have things going to waste. After it kind of starts to weather a little bit in the fridge, still edible, very edible, raw even, you can just cook it off. Just boom, cook it off, and you're getting another week or two out of it. So we're going to put the cauliflower, or the broccoli and the kale in it later. But for right now, we are just going to let that go. And then right here, I'm actually going to make some cheese out of potatoes and carrots. Actual cheese out of potatoes and carrots. And we're just going to give these babies a slice. Boom. Just like that. So we got some potatoes there, and let me just do a carrot too while I'm at it. And give this baby a cut. And some of you may have had cashew cheese. Oh, by the way, look at this, if you can catch this on the camera. When you're cutting carrots or anything that's round, you don't want to cut it on this side because you don't have stability. And so you're sitting here like this, whoa! And so if you keep them laying flat like this, then you're getting stability. Then you can really go to town. So that's one of the little secrets about cooking using a knife. Of course, if you were here Tuesday, you got one of my videos on knife cutting, right? And let me see if I can just do this right here, the easy way. Woo! My glasses are getting steamy. Is it foggy out? Okay. In fact, let me do one more carrot. Just a little. It doesn't take a lot of carrot. Mostly it's potatoes. That's the whole trick to making cheese. This is going to be cheese out of potatoes and carrots. So we're going to get this baby boiling and make sure our flames are on, and we're good to go there. Okay. But that's the trick to it. Get yourself, the cashew cheese. That's what I was talking about, the cashew cheese. I mean, that's really expensive. Those cashews are expensive, and they're loaded with a lot of fat. So this cheese is actually going to be 1/5 the fat and 1/5 the price. Plus it tastes absolutely fantastic. Okay, so one more thing before you run off is I want to share again with you those books from the other day because I didn't get a close-up on it, and I wanted to get a close-up with the camera on these books over here. Now these books, they can do that? Okay. Because I was talking about what an upside-down world this is? This whole world is so nutty upside down. And we're just being trained to do exactly what we should not be doing. And I'm telling you, you've got to eat more carbs. A lot more carbs. And I'm going to share the books with you here. The Starch Solution, Dr. McDougall. There's the book, The Starch Solution by Dr. McDougall. And he shows you where 70% of your diet needs to be in starches, carbs. There's the Low Carb Fraud by T. Colin Campbell. That's the Low Carb Fraud, T. Colin Campbell. He wrote the China study telling you how you need to eat more carbs. And of course, we're talking the complex carbs, not the simple carbs, okay? Eat the potato, not the potato chip. Here's the gluten lie. Tells you the whole lie about gluten and how you should eat more gluten. Here's the one, How Not to Die by Michael Greger, which this one has a lot of tidbits of knowledge. It's just, it's not a real focused book on one particular, but he's got a lot of information there about eating more carbs. And my favorite one is The Low Carb Myth by Ari Whitten and Wade Smith, New York Times bestseller. This thing has got 490 scientific sources in here showing how you need to eat more carbs. And you can kind of tell I really go through the books and study out different things. So those are the books there that show where you need to eat more carbs. But then I just wanted to share with you some of these other things that are so upside down in society. Let me tell you, we are living in a nutty world. Nutty. Here, wait. A nutty world. Stick around. Okay. About 6 or 7 years ago, I finally quit eating potato chips. Because I was a big potato chip eater. And I got to make sure this is on. I'm going to crank that up on high. I finally quit eating potato chips. In the dummy label would say 0% cholesterol, but on the bottom of the potato chips it says made with milk and whey and cheddar and cream and all these unhealthy foods, right? So I started getting raisins, and I get raisins and craisins and dried blueberries and almonds and pecans and walnuts and nuts and things, and I make my own blends. That's what I do for snacking. And I found out I would have went through $50 worth of potato chips before I go through a $10 jar of nuts. So it saves me a lot of money. I'm snacking healthier. But you don't want to eat the Planters dry roasted peanuts. These are now made with pork. Ooh, didn't know that one. Yes, Planters dry roasted peanuts. These are now made with pork. The old label used to say peanuts, peanut oil, and sea salt. Here's the new label right here. Peanuts, sea salt, sugar, MSG, gelatin, which is your pork gelatin. If it says K-gelatin, then it's kosher. You'll see it on yogurt and different things like that. It'll say K-gelatin when it's kosher, and it'll be made with beef bones or seaweed usually. But that's, and here's the addiction. Remember we talked about the sugar, oil, and salt? They put sugar in here. They put salt in here, and then they use the oil from the nut as the oil to get it addictive. I mean, you ever eat something, you put it away, and within 30 seconds you're opening it up to eat more? Because it's specifically designed for addiction. Those manufacturers want your money. That's what it's all about. Here, we're going to go through a couple labels here. Hormel chili. This one right here, you'll love this. 98% fat-free. Woo, 98% fat-free. But on the back of the label, they always put those selling tactics on the front, don't they? Yeah, but on the back, it's 51% sodium, 27% cholesterol, 2 portions in a can. And look, you got to see this. On the front label, it's actually a picture of a salad. You see that? It's a picture of a salad on the front label. I mean, they really want to make it look healthy, so they put a salad on the front label. This is why I'm saying, read those labels. Here's another one for you. This one here, Jif with omega-3. So everybody sees omega-3 everywhere, right? And they think they have to go down and buy themselves a gallon of fish oil and guzzle it every morning. Oh, I got to have omega-3 or I'm going to die. Because you hear it over and over and over and over in society. Omega-3, omega-3. Oh, I must need omega-3. Well, yeah, you need omega-3, but that doesn't mean you need massive quantities of it. You get omega-3 out of rice. Nobody's going to have a problem not getting enough omega-3. But, immediately, once society realizes, oh, our bodies need omega-3. Nobody said you were low on omega-3. They just said your bodies need omega-3. And all the manufacturers who have products with omega-3 just go after it. Go push this thing. And then we see it all the time. Now, Jif with omega-3, this one's actually made with anchovies and sardines. Well, I mean, if you like anchovies with your peanut butter sandwich, it's already in. And this one has tilapia in it, too. Which, the mercury tilapia thing, yeah. But that's what's going on out there. That's what you're consuming out there. This is the upside down world we live in. And I want to share with you a couple more things here because, okay, let's go with some real things that are upside down. How about soy? Everybody's feared. Stay away from soy. Stay away from soy, right? Why are people being feared away from soy? Nobody knows, really. GMO is one thing, which interestingly enough, when it comes to GMOs on soybeans and on corn, 90% of the corn is genetically modified, right? You've all heard this before. Well, the problem is 50% of that GMO corn is used for livestock feed. 40% is biodiesel fuels. There's your 90%. The other 10% is what we consume. Most of the corn that we consume is not genetically modified. In fact, genetically modified corn, you can't even eat it. You would spit it out. It tastes so horrible. And when you get corn on the cob, whole kernel corn, or frozen corn, you're not getting genetically modified corn. It's when they can process it, or canned corn. Canned corn, they can put some ingredients in there to make it flavorful. But the frozen corn, you just don't get that type of thing. But our brains are saying, don't eat corn, don't eat corn. It's genetically modified. Same thing with soybeans. 78% of soybeans is genetically modified. Yeah, but most of it is for livestock and soybean oil. The other soybeans, we don't get all this problem with the GMOs. And it's not that much more expensive to get GMO soy and things like that. But anyway, let me share with you the actual story about GMO soy, because here's what happened out there. You've got a multi-billion-dollar industry that's taking billions of dollars away from the dairy industry. And so they're getting attacked in every way, shape, or form to fear you into going back to drinking regular milk instead of soy milk. This is a massive, massive money thing going on here. But I won't get too much into that as far as, but I want to share with you the facts about soy. Now, what happened was, years ago, people were dying. People that had cancer were dying, and they couldn't figure out why. And then they found out it was because they were eating soy products. So Chicken Little went viral all over the internet. Don't eat soy, it's going to kill you. Well, it wasn't because they were consuming soy. These people already had cancer. But here's what happened. They found out that we have these receptors in our body. And when you eat soy products, it fits inside those receptors perfectly, just like a key. And then the cancer meds come in, and they can't do the job they're supposed to be doing because the soybeans are there. So all these people were dying, and they linked it to soybeans, blaming it on soybeans, when that wasn't the case. And further studies showed that the soybeans are actually doing the exact same job the cancer meds are doing, just not to the potency that you would need if you have cancer. So this was the whole thing. And so people just got this whole fear out there, don't eat soy, it causes cancer, when it doesn't. And you still have doctors out there telling people, even cancer patients, to not eat soy. Now, if you're a cancer patient and you're on cancer meds, definitely do not eat soy because the cancer meds aren't going to be able to do their job. But I even quote Dr. Oz word for word. He said, soybeans are the #1 cancer-preventing vegetable on the market, and you can eat them every day. They're that good for you. And if you look at the statistics, which Dr. Oz, I know he changes as the wind flows, 1 week it's good for you, the next week it's bad. He does a lot of that flip-flopping. But if you look at the actual studies about soy products, soybeans, the countries and the people that eat the most soybeans actually have the least amount of cancers of anybody in the world. It's just that way. So anyway, that was the first rumor that went out on soy products, is don't eat soy, it's causing cancer, which it's not. Okay, the second rumor that came out, and some of you might have heard this, that soybeans have estrogen in them. Have any of you heard soybeans have estrogen? Oh, like everybody? Really? Okay. There's no estrogen whatsoever in soybeans. None. And I got 25 people looking at me like, what? There is no estrogen whatsoever in soybeans. That was a flat-out lie that went out in a massive, massive way, but you heard it enough times and you started believing it. This is from the front page of the American Cancer Society. There's no estrogen whatsoever in soybeans. There isn't. So that lie went out there to fear people, that now they know that there's no estrogen in it, but the lies will keep going out there. And then the next one was, soybeans have isoflavones in it. Have you heard this one? And they're similar to estrogen. This was the next rumor that came out. Oh, don't eat soy because it's got estrogen in it, and that didn't work, so now it's got isoflavones in it. But now they found out that the isoflavones from the soy products is actually blocking harmful estrogen from attaching to your tissue, once again being a cancer preventer. This is the problem. We hear these false informations out there in a massive way, and then when the truth really comes out, you don't hear a thing about it. The retractions are never there. So that was the next thing that came out with the soy products. Now, here's the dilemma, okay? There's a difference between, in fact, there's a couple articles here, and I could share them with you about soy protein. Dr. McDougall has an article about soy products. Even Dr. Oz has an article called The Two Faces of Soy. Okay? So here's the flip side. The soy that you want to stay away from is your soy protein isolate. Soy protein isolate is the sludge that's left over after the processing of soybean oil and tofu well, I'm not sure about tofu, but TVP and things like that, they had this sludge. And it was like, what are we going to do with it? They found out it was high in protein. They started putting it out on the market. And as long as it says protein, people are going to buy it. Now, soy protein isolate has the same IGF-1 factor as meat when it comes to cancer causing. Soy protein isolate, you're better off eating meat than soy protein isolate. See, here we go. Once things get manufactured all the way down to something, you end up with a serious problem. So anyway, I did some homework on some of these power bars. Take a look at these power bars here. Let's see, we've got the Zone, the Simple Lie. Oh, I'm sorry, it says the Simple Truth. It should say the Simple Lie. Luna bars, I guess it should be called Lunatic bars. Cliff bars, here's your Cliff bars. Okay, now these bars right here, every one of these loaded with protein, 12 grams, 20 grams of protein on this Cliff bar. And so you're thinking, wow, this must be really good. Number one ingredient, soy protein isolate. Okay? Number one ingredient of this Zone bar, soy protein isolate. It is, soy protein isolate, number one ingredient. I wish you could see that. You can't get quite a close-up on that one. Simple Truth, number one ingredient, protein blend of soy protein isolate and whey protein. So it was tied with number one, I guess. And the Lunatic bar here, Lunatic bar, number one ingredient, soy protein isolate. These are all cancer-causing, but here's the people that are out there in the world saying, oh, don't eat soy, stay away from soy, it's so bad for you. And they will sit there and just, they're good for you, it's a health bar. They're eating the exact opposite protein, soy, that they should be eating. My favorite bars is actually going to be something like this. This one's called That's It. And the only ingredient in it is apples and mangoes. That's it. Maybe that's why they called it That's It. And then these Laura bars. Have anybody seen the Laura bars? It's just, it's got like 3 ingredients. I can't remember what this one has. This is the cherry one. Should be right here, though. It's dates, almonds, and cherries. That's it. That's the only ingredients in there. So you got to look for something that's going to have a better than these. I mean, these up here are just horrible. But these are the ones people are eating all the time. And they're just not eating the right soy. So there's your, isn't that something? Just amazing. So, I forgot to tell you. If you were all here Monday, you remember when I took the lettuce that was all wilted down and I soaked it in warm water. And everybody thought, you're just nuts. I did. I soaked the lettuce in warm water instead of cold water. And then I shocked it with cold water. Okay, you got to see if you can get a close-up of this. This is 3 days later. I've just put it in a baggie. It's been in there for 3 days. And look at this. This is still crisp and fresh. Isn't that amazing? 3 days. Well, there's one piece here that's kind of broke down. But, I mean, it is so crisp, it'll actually snap when you tear it apart. 3 days later, isn't that something? I'm telling you, you really get some shelf life out of stuff when you prep it properly. So, anyway. Okay, so we got that going. But anyway, that's the soy situation. Upside down world. Here's a good soy product. Butler soy curls. Ingredients, whole soybeans. That's it. And it's the whole bean instead of the manipulated, broke apart type of soybean. So, but this is the upside down world. I don't eat soy, don't eat soy. So here's society. Don't eat carbs, it's bad for you, which it's good for you. Don't eat soy, it's bad for you. Don't eat wheat, it's bad for you. And there was a study that came out on Michael Greger's website that found out when you eliminate those healthy carbs and grains out of your diet, your arteries start deteriorating at a substantially accelerated rate. That was his words, word for word. Yeah, you are really doing your body. You might look good on the outside because you're losing weight. Sure, because you reduced your calories, but you're actually becoming very, very, very unhealthy on the inside. And that's the more important thing, is the inside. Okay, another one. Remember the old saying about carbs? When it comes to potatoes, did I tell you about potatoes and rice? Because everybody's saying, oh, stay away from the white potatoes and the white rice, right? So everybody, and for doctors, oh, it spikes your glycemic level. Type 2 diabetics, it'll spike your glycemic level. Well, interestingly enough, it only spikes your glycemic level if you're eating animal products. If you're not eating animal products, it does not spike your glycemic level. And they did a panel, they did some studies and found out, well, we'll just have to test all these people. Well, they did a study and they kind of eliminated both ends of the spectrum and took an average and found out, yeah, sure enough, consistently. But they did not look at the people at the end of the spectrum that were never getting their glycemic level spiked. And if they would have done their homework the first time, they would have found out, how come all the vegans who don't eat animal products, see, they didn't know this part. 99% of the people they were testing were people that ate animal products. So there's a big difference when it comes to studies. Who are you studying? Are you studying somebody who's a healthy eater or studying somebody who lives an unhealthy lifestyle? So that's a really important thing to look at when you're paying attention to these things. Another myth that came out, and some of you may have heard this one. Stay away from rice because it has arsenic in it, right? Have you heard this? That's been all over the news for the last year. Don't eat rice, it has arsenic in it. First of all, you'd have to eat about 200 pounds a day to get any harmful effect from that rice. See, they don't tell you that part. And the other part is the fact that your body needs arsenic to sustain properly. Yes, your body needs arsenic. They didn't tell you that either, did they? All you got was the fear factor. Oh, stay away from rice. Oh, what else are we supposed to stay away from? Stay away from dark tomatoes and dark shades. That was a big thing that came across, right? Stay away from the dark shades. And now with the fruit thing, you know about the fruit thing? That's because you're hearing it here first. If you eat too much fruit, the fruit will actually turn into triglycerides, but it's a different type of triglyceride. It's a triglyceride that will actually bloat your fat cells. So it doesn't make you gain weight, but it makes your fat cells able to absorb those fats and calories from all the other food that you're eating. So, and they just found this out here probably the last 3 months. And so the whole situation was, yes, you can eat fruit as long as it's fruit that you're going to be consuming in energy through exercise and everything, but anything excess is going to bloat your fat cells. But I guarantee you, within the next couple years, it's going to hit the internet like wildfire. Stay away from fruit. It's going to make you fat. Right? That's what's going to happen. You watch, it's just gradually going to domino effect, and all these articles are going to come all over the internet. Stay away from fruit. It's going to make you fat. Stay away from iceberg. Don't eat iceberg lettuce. There's no nutritional value in iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce has nutritional value. Doesn't have as much as maybe romaine, but it still has nutritional value. So, okay, now let me put the whole perspective together, why I'm explaining these to you. Satan does a really good job. There's no two ways about it. But we got a God that can do a lot better job for us. And really, if you look at society, now we're going to look at the whole spectrum. Don't take one particular thing, but we look at the whole spectrum. This is where the light bulb goes off. Society's saying, don't eat wheat, don't eat corn, don't eat grains, don't eat fruit, don't eat soybeans, don't eat whatever. they're telling you not to eat all the healthy foods. And then they're sticking to, and then they're sticking to the foods like meats. Oh, you got to get your protein. You got to have meat. You got to have your calcium. You got to have milk. You got to have your vitamin D, from animal products. You've got to eat these animal products. And you definitely should have a lot more coconut oil because that's good for you. People will defend coconut oil thinking, no, I've got all the proof I need. They will defend coconut oil. They will defend their animal products. They literally do. And so you can see the whole spectrum of all the unhealthy foods that are being promoted and all the healthy foods that are being condemned. It is a total upside down world. And I'll tell you what, though, the healthiest people are the ones that eat the healthiest foods. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And so when you do your homework, you're really going to see these type of things. By the way, I talked to my brother yesterday. This is my other brother, Wayne. He lives in Wyoming. I get to go see him here in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to talk to him and let him know what date I was coming out. And he's got a cattle farm in Wyoming. He's 400 pounds too, just like my other brother. He's 400 pounds, not that interested in getting healthy. My wife and I, last time we were there, we went to his place, and he's got this big feed truck, and he goes around the side of his house, and the cows, they hear that big feed truck, they all come running over, and my wife and I, we were like stepping back from these big animals, but my brother Wayne, he's all bold, he's giving the cows a big hug, he's like, hey little cow, how you doing? And he talks to them like they're family and scratches their ears, and, and then he decides which one he wants to eat. That's my brother Wayne. He actually has a senior facility there. He chops them up for that too. But so anyway, this was a while back. I talked to him, and this just reminded me because I talked to him yesterday. And he says this was a while back, and he said, "Mark, we've been eating veggie burgers for the last few weeks." And I thought, cool. Maybe he saw me lose 75 pounds. He sees my brother Paul lose 100. My sister in Arizona is getting healthy. She's lost about 30 pounds now. And I thought maybe Wayne was going to get healthy. He's eating veggie burgers. And then he said, my other cow, I named him Black Bean. He said, next month we're having black bean burgers, black bean steaks. I was like, no, that doesn't count. Okay, these still got a couple minutes to go. I'm going to come over here, though. Look at those babies steamed up there. Since we're about halfway through it, I'm going to drop in the broccoli there, and then I'm going to hit the top with kale. The kale's got to come in right at the end. So we'll just put some of that right on top. And we'll put that on there, let it keep going. All right, but before we do this cheese, I want to show you a video of this mozzarella cheese. It's a really challenging one, and I just thought you'd have fun having a little challenge. So let's go to this video showing you how to make actual mozzarella cheese.
The Lord is my shepherd.
The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep.
I shall not want.
Ask, and it will be given to you.
He makes me lie down in green pastures.
I am the bread
Well,
of
there's
life.
different types of
He who comes
carrageenan,
to
and
me
the one that's
will
bad
not
for you
hunger.
is not even in the food supply. It just isn't. So, but on the phone.
Oh, I love that.
Did I finish
We're
my
gonna
blood
make
test?
mozzarella.
Yes,
Melting,
this is so
melting
good.
Mozzarella.
That's the melting mozzarella. This one will blow you away.
We need
We're going to do 2 cups of yogurt. This is a non-dairy, plain, unsweetened yogurt. 1 cup of water, 2/3 cup of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of salt, 3/4 cup of tapioca flour, 2 tablespoons of carrageenan powder, and then for a brine we need a 1/2 gallon of cold water and a couple teaspoons of salt.
Now, I'm excited to make this mozzarella cheese. It seems like, I mean, I have never in my life, and I've been vegan for years, but never tried to do something like this.
This is the one that
exciting.
really blows people away. Let me tell you, when they take a look at this, they're like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's all vegan, so you're
That's
going to love
amazing.
this.
Okay.
And, now right here, I want to get this fired up because it's going to take a little while to heat up and everything. So we're going to just crank this up right here
That's soy yogurt.
and get this baby going. We got that on full blast, good. Yeah, what this is I've got 2 cups of yogurt in here. I've got 1 cup of water, 2/3 cup of olive oil, and then a tablespoon of salt. So what we did with this is you take that mixture and you whip it together, and then it's got to set for 24 hours.
Really?
Right, so I did that
Okay.
yesterday. I just blended it all together, set it at room temperature, and what it's doing
You want
is...
the cultures.
Yeah, it's kind of creating a bacteria of cultures that kind of like regular...
Like you would do in any type of cheese.
right,
You
exactly.
want to grow that
it's the
bacteria.
same kind of concept that cheese does when they're aged. They do the culture first. So you're doing the same concept.
Wow.
And it is a non-dairy yogurt. It's plain and unsweetened. You know, you don't want to get all those sweetened things.
Right.
I really haven't tried it with the blueberry yogurt yet. I'm
I
really
was thinking
looking
that,
forward
or strawberry or
Yeah.
raspberry.
Yeah, we might have to try that someday.
Okay.
This is going to come to a boil, and this is going to blow you away when you see this. It really is. So I got to keep stirring, but we do need to add a couple more ingredients to
Okay.
this.
Right now, or when
Yeah,
it boils?
we're going to start out with 3/4 cup of tapioca flour,
That would be this.
which this is the tapioca flour.
Faster or just like this?
Yeah, you're doing perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay.
So this is tapioca a thickener?
It can be.
But that's not this
Yeah.
purpose. Sorry.
That works perfect.
Got it.
Let me give this a stir. And it's already, I can already feel it coming around. All right, now this is 2 tablespoons of carrageenan powder.
Ah, we've been using this.
Now, and a lot of people are hesitant about carrageenan. You might have heard a few things about that. Just for a long story short, you don't have to send me any emails on it or anything like that. There's different types of carrageenan, and the ones that are actually used in food is kind of a good carrageenan. So, but it's basically seaweed. It's just basically a seaweed product. And then I've got to add a 1/4 teaspoon of that cream of tartar. And that's what really gives it a flavor. That cream of tartar just really kind of gives it that little zesty popping.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is going to get really challenging for me.
I'm kind of glad Mark's stirring at this point instead of Joe.
And it does take a lot of work to make this. But you're going to see this coming along very well here.
It's already changing consistency some.
It is. Look at it. You see it already getting stringy?
Oh, I can. Oh, that's incredible, Mark.
As it heats up, and you
Oh,
want to
yes. Look at that string.
you want to get it heating up. And once it gets really hot like that, about 2 minutes later, you're good to go. And I knew I was going to get a workout at 3 a.m.
This is quite a workout. Wow.
Can you imagine, though, putting this in a sandwich or something?
That's
You can make
incredible.
grilled cheese sandwiches. You can put it in different dishes.
Now, what about the salt? Do I add this or not yet over here?
Now, that's for the brine.
Okay.
You've got some ice water there, and you're going to add that salt to the brine.
Do you want it now?
Yeah, add that in there, and then give it a little stir.
Wow,
Look
that
at
looks cool. Wow.
Now that's getting really stringy. See how much
is stringy.
it just gets stringier and stringier? And that's what you're looking for. I can hear it sizzling on the bottom.
I can.
So I'm going to shut this off. Yep.
Wow.
Isn't that
Look at
something?
that. That's incredible. That is amazing, Mark. This is soy cheese. Wow.
And not even really
Amazing.
soy cheese. I mean, it's got the soy milk in there,
Not
but
the soy milk, right? From
most
the
of
yogurt,
it's
but
the
that's-
yogurt. Yeah, the soy yogurt, exactly. And water. And
Wow.
now here's the cool part.
Okay, I'm ready.
I got my workout now. So I got my calories. Now we're going to put these scoops in the brine.
Okay.
And we'll just take one scoop at a time like this. And
Oh, isn't that cool?
and I'll only do a
And it's gonna
couple of them
form.
right here. But ouch, that's hot. Don't try this at home, kids.
Oof.
And then
Got
maybe
one over
grab
there?
one of those that clear container there, and we'll start filling that up too. Yeah, this can be a little messy,
Oh, I can see that.
and you got to work fast. You got to really
Because
work.
it's going to set real fast.
Right, it's going to thicken up really quick here.
Okay.
Okay, one more time. I'll do it one more time here.
Wow. We've never done this on a cooking show. I mean, I've been doing it for years. I don't ever remember doing this.
This is a real science.
That
This
is
is a
awesome.
science class that you're at today, okay? It's not a cooking show, it's a science class.
But it's a science class with something you can eat instead of like dissecting
Something healthy that you can.
Absolutely.
Okay, now check these out in the ice water. Have you ever seen buffalo mozzarella? Buffalo mozzarella is what you would see, and it is actually in a brine like this.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's already, if you'll, I'm gonna pull this out,
can
you
I
can
feel
see
it?
it's already thickening up on the outside.
Oh, it
It's still
is.
hot on the inside. But look how fast it's setting, and it's not sticking to my fingers or anything.
Not. I see.
And,
Yeah, it's
and
getting like a skin on the outside.
you can actually store it like this in the refrigerator. That's the way I store it in the water,
In the water.
in the salt water. And that gives it a longer shelf life.
Now, can I ask you, what's the purpose of the salt water? Pardon my ignorance.
As a brine,
why don't you just use
it's
cold?
a preservative.
Okay,
So the salt water gives it a longer shelf life.
makes sense.
And you could have it in the fridge for weeks.
Could you really?
If you have it like this, it doesn't have as long as a shelf life.
Right.
But you can grab one of those right there, and one of those ones that are
These
actually
are already set
done.
up.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
that's the way they would come out of the thing, out of the brine, and just like that, boom, you got mozzarella cheese.
I love it.
Now you can do this with the agar powder instead of the carrageenan if you want, but it ends up not being quite as melting. It's more of a jello-y type, where this has more of a melting. So you could actually take this, reheat it, and it's going to end up with that same melting capability,
Yes.
just like the cheese here.
I mean, this would be great cheese. You put it over lasagna. You could grate it, right? You could slice it. You could.
Grading's a little challenging.
It's grating. Okay. So scratch the grating idea.
You can grade this one better than you can grade this one.
Correct.
Because it's just, and you could actually, if you added more carrageenan or agar, it would harden it up,
Okay.
and then you'd probably have a better grading cheese.
Okay.
So, and like I said, we're just teaching the concepts here, and once
Right.
you get the concept of this, then you can really start running with it. You can add flavors, you can make it harder, you can make it softer, and it's cost-wise.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is 1/4 the cost of what you would get these cheeses at the health food stores. Yeah, 1/4, if not more. I haven't done really the math. I've done it big time in my head, but it's just going to save you a lot of money.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Tell me, Mark, I know you travel. We got to go to our next recipe, but just for a moment, you travel a lot. I mean,
Woo! We are experiencing technical difficulty. Please stand by. Isn't that amazing, though? That's the one cheese that's really challenging, but it is so good. And I've got cheese recipes for everything from that extreme down to hard cheeses like Parmesan, and pretty much got every degree in between. So we really do a lot of cheeses. That's because I'll tell you what, a lot of people, that's their weakness. Cheese wasn't my weakness. I didn't have a problem with cheese like a lot of people do. But we're going to make some cheese out of potatoes and carrots here. Now we're going to take the potatoes and carrots and we're going to put them right in here. And we're going to get these babies blended up. And let me tell you though, even when I go out to eat, I order no cheese, no sour cream. Taco Bell, I order Fresca menu. I go to Taco Bell once in a while. So many people, we eat out. You want to eat out the least amount possible. In fact, when I go to places, Subway has veggie subs. You just look for those healthier options. And anytime you go out to eat, just order no cheese. There's no reason to order all that cheese. And of course, if I'm going to go out to eat, a lot of times, if I'm in a hurry on the road and I got to go grab something real quick, it's just as fast for me to run into a grocery store and hit the produce aisle as it is to go into a fast food restaurant. So that would be my better option to do that. But, mostly especially when I got my trailer and I'm traveling, I've got everything with me, so I never need to go out anywhere. And when you got your refrigerator set up and your freezer set up and your cupboard set up, man, you got plenty of food that is so easy to cook. Why would you go out and spend 5 times the price eating at some restaurant? So save your money and eat healthier at home. In fact, we had this lady. She came to an event 3 years ago down in California, and when my wife and I were on that tour, and her and her husband came to the event, and they decided they're never going to eat at a fast food restaurant again. And so 3 years later, just a few months ago, I run into her on this tour because I came up from California, and she came to the event. She told me that her and her husband and 2 kids have lost over 200 pounds together just by not eating out at fast food at restaurants. They finally said, you know what? That's the only thing they did was just quit eating out. And they saved that much in calories, I guess, so it works. It really works. Okay, we got potatoes and carrots in there. For this one, we're going to need to add some McKay's chicken-style seasoning, which they have this across the street at the health food store. We've got nutritional yeast flakes here, which is a derivative of molasses, high in B12. And that's at the place next door. I want more. I'm going to kick it up a notch here. Yeah, nutritional yeast flakes is great. We'll do some garlic and onion. You can tell how I measure everything precisely. 1 part garlic, 2 parts onion. Once you've done this a couple times, you'll know exactly how to do it. You'll find out my recipes are very forgiving. You don't have to be precise. They're great just the way they are, but there's a lot of wiggle room just because I'm a production chef. I'm used to cooking for thousands of people, in big containers, so I just know ratios. And if you can start cooking with ratios, it'll make all your cooking more successful. Look at recipes and look at the ratio between garlic and onion, or which there's 5 different flavors to an onion. I mean, you've got raw, you've got translucent, you've got golden, you got brown, and you got dark brown. That's the 5 official flavors of an onion when it comes to fresh. And then your powdered and stuff taste even different than the fresh. So now we do need to get some of this potato water in there, but I don't want to add a lot because I want this baby to be thick. So I might have to add a little bit as this baby blends, but it's going to take about a minute to get this baby blended here. I'm going to get this baby. Woo! Look at that. Perfect. Look at the carrots just cut right in half. Got some corn. Where's my beets? I need potatoes. There's potatoes right there. Got cabbage. Broccoli. I'll tell you, I could eat that right there with nothing else on it. I'm telling you, this is the fabulous, fabulous way. But we take our cheese, and we do this at home all the time. And boom, you've got a fabulous meal that's just packed with power, energy, and it tastes absolutely fabulous. I'm telling you, and this stuff here, you can freeze it. If you want to freeze this, you'll thaw it out. And when you thaw it out, you'll see some water separation. So you'll want to like drain the water off if you want. And then when you heat it up, you'll have to take a wire whip to it or reblend it because you'll see that separation. If you have this in the fridge, you can take, I make big batches of this. I put it in the fridge, and it'll last in the fridge for a couple weeks. And if it's in the fridge and you reheat it, you don't even have to whip it. It'll just melt right back down into cheese again. So it's just such an easy way to do that. But here you go. You've got your great meal there. And look, we got meals for the next few days here. And it's just such a great way. And we'll have this for breakfast even, because it's got your potatoes, your carrots. It's just a healthy energy. Lunch is usually what we do. We usually have it for lunch. But I'm telling you, that is the way to eat healthy every day. And you can put so many different things in here. These veggie pots are just fantastic. Yeah, you can put this cheese right here, put it on chips for nachos. I was at my sister's house, and she had a whole bunch of football players coming over from Arizona. And I think it was a major football team there. And we had now this has some brown specks in it, okay, because I did not peel the potatoes and the carrots. But at her house, we peeled all the potatoes and the carrots. And then it looks exactly like that cheddar cheese for nachos. None of them knew that it was a healthy vegan version. They all thought it was cheddar cheese for nachos. And you want to make queso dips. You just add your green chilies, add your salsas to it. You want to do soups. You can just do some broccoli and vegetables and make a broccoli cheese soup, potato cheese soup. You got your base right here. And macaroni and cheese. Take cooked macaroni, you add this to it, you're done. If you want to put some breadcrumbs on it and toast it in the oven for a few minutes on a real hot temperature, just to brown the breadcrumbs, you got a baked macaroni and cheese in a matter of minutes. And people are just like, wow. So this is the easy way to do this. And let me tell you, I'm really thankful that not only God has shown me how to cook this way. Fortunately, I had a really good upbringing in Las Vegas. I kind of learned how to cook everything, and I got my flavor, my taste buds down, so I know what foods taste like. And so I've been able to adapt what I've learned in the mainstream of culinary and really make healthy vegan, vegetarian food that just really tastes wow, So it's and I'll tell you, I love going around the country. It's just been a real blessing of mine. I see miracle after miracle. We get emails and things all the time from people telling us, not just what a good job we're doing, but what a good job they're doing, transforming their lives. Let me tell you something. If you're eating a healthy life right now, get out there and share it with somebody. Every one of us knows a dozen people that need to get healthy. And you can be that inspiration for other people. And let me tell you, if you're not healthy now, and you start making some changes, let me tell you, people are going to see that. And then you can be a serious inspiration to your neighbors and your coworkers and your friends and your loved ones and your children and family. Because they're going to look at you and say, man, what have you been doing? And then you can really be that serious inspiration. And that's what it takes, is sharing, sharing this message that has been so faithfully given to us. You have to adapt it into your lifestyle and then share it with other people. It is critically important to do this. And let me tell you, going around the country, it's amazing how many people's lives are transformed not just by food and health, but spiritually as well. Body, mind, and spirit, it is all connected. What does Satan go after? He goes after the body. Satan's going after our kids' bodies before they're even of age to make a decision. Satan's attacking their bodies. If it's not with the animal fats, it's with the animal protein, it's with the sugars. We didn't even talk too much about that. 135 to 155 pounds per person per year, average consumption of sugar alone. He's attacking them with the cholesterol and the chemicals nowadays and the GMOs. Some of those are a problem. Not all GMOs are problems, okay? Some GMOs might be perfectly fine. You got to understand something about GMOs. There's hundreds of different types of GMOs. Some, they can do a little thing to it and keep bugs from wanting to eat it, and then they can make it actually organic. It's an organic, genetically modified food. But then there's other ones that's one end of the spectrum, that some are very good. What about the other end of the spectrum? But you don't want to group all GMOs together. That's kind of like being a racist. Yeah, really. I mean, you're treating everybody the same because of the color of their skin. You're treating every GMO the same. They're not all the same. But see, the problem is we don't know one from another. And, so I think we should have labeling, of course, so people can make their own decisions. But the kids are getting hit with GMOs. Satan was attacking our bodies before we were ever even born. He's attacking the body because he knows first you get the body, then you get the mind, and then you get the spirit. It's all connected in such a mighty way. That's why he's going after our kids' bodies. So all we're doing is reversing the process. When you start getting healthier physically, then you're going to start getting healthier mentally, and then you're going to have a better connection with God. It is all connected in such a mighty way. I think it was Framingham Medical Studies. They found out that when you go on a vegan, plant-strong lifestyle, not only do you get that animal fat off of all your blood cells, which you got to get that animal fat off of your blood cells. That's how you get the right amount of oxygen in your blood. You have to have the right amount of oxygen in your blood. That's your filtering system. That's what helps filter out all these harmful particles that we get every day. You get the animal fat off of there, you start getting the right amount of oxygen in your blood, your entire filtering system, all your internal organs start functioning the way they're supposed to be functioning. That's the bigger issue, is the oxygen in the blood. So, but not only do you get that animal fat off of all your blood cells, you get it off of all your brain cells. And when people go plant strong, they actually end up having higher brain activity. And that was their quote. My quote, it just makes you smarter. And we just need to make better choices. Make better decisions about what you're going to eat when you go out to eat. Make better choices about what you're going to bring home from the grocery store. And let me tell you, it does domino effect right into your relationship with God. I'm living proof of it. I feel like I am. But anyway, we're done. Wait, we were going to do a drawing, weren't we? We got to have a drawing to see who's going to do the dishes. Yeah. Yeah, book signing is today at 1 o'clock over at the food store, the Health ABC store there. 1 to 2 o'clock we're going to be over at the bookstore. So a lot of questions and answers there. Let's see here. How are we going to do this drawing? I'm going to ask some questions here. We'll start with you. We'll put you on the spot. So you can pick a number, and I'm going to give you two choices. Either pick the number 1 or the number 10. Which one do you want, 1 or 10? 10, really? Oh, wow. So you're going to pick the number 10. So the next person, we'll ask you, you can pick any number, 1 all the way, and even pick 10 or anything in between. So 1, 10, or anything in between, you can pick that number. 6. So you pick 10, you pick 6, and what's your number? 5? So that would be a 065. Now, if you have the number 65 on your flyer, and we've only got about 20 seconds for this because you must be present to win. It's going to be right by my face. There's a picture of me, and then right above the picture, if you see the number 65, you actually win this painting over here. But you've only got about 10, 15 seconds here because this is a must be present to win. We don't know if somebody left with the flyer, that type of thing. Anybody with the number 65 on their flyer right here? Anybody, 65? Oh, well, you got to pick the number between 1 and 200. You want to give it to somebody else? That's very gracious of you. Pick a number between 1 and 200 real quick. No. 85. Anybody with the number 85? There you go, 85 right there. Congratulations. If you can always share it with people. You can give it to the church. Sometimes they go for over $500 on eBay. So yeah, they really they go quite well out there. But so congratulations, number 85. And there's your drawing for the day. And tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to make that aquafaba, which is whipped cream out of bean juice. And then I'm actually going to do a testimony. And if you haven't heard my testimony, I'm going to really blow you away we're going to do a powerful message tomorrow, since I pretty much got 90% done. But yeah, thank you all for coming out. Be blessed, and we'll see you tomorrow.